Interesting. Okay, thanks for sharing that. And I guess my next question is not really related to the social media world. I've actually had a look at your Uncommon podcast, and
Okay.
the theme of I guess psychedelics or mushrooms came up, and I mean I don't know. You feel free if you want to answer this question, or you don't have to answer it. But have you experienced any psychedelic experiences? Ever?
I haven't, but I'm looking at it at the moment, mainly
Okay.
because so the thing that intrigued me about it personally is that uh, from about the age of 22, I had anxiety.
Okay.
I don't know what it came from. Um, I think it was maybe like just blowing a gasket, overworking at the
Mhm.
time. I distinctly remember my first ever anxiety experience. First and second experiences were like crazy. I remember feeling like I was having a heart attack. I was driving home and I had to pull over and like call my mum, and I was freaking out, and it was the worst experience ever. And then a couple months later, it was um, it was sort of similar in that. So I worked at this Greek restaurant, the Press Club in the city, well-known Greek restaurant at the time, George
Okay.
Columbaris's place, and
Did
they
he pay
had this.
you?
He paid me. He paid me. He paid casuals fine, just not full-time workers.
Okay.
What they were owed. So they had this little machine. I loved Greek coffee. Like my dad's got a Greek background, so we had lots of Greek coffee as a kid. And I had two Greek coffees, one after the other, and nothing to eat for the day. And I remember just having a complete disassociation. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's just like this feeling of like you're not in your body, like you don't feel real, if that makes
Okay.
sense. That was my, the first 2-3 months of me having anxiety. I was like, okay, I need to go do something about this. It took me years to properly see a psychologist, and I think in 2018 is when I really sorted it out. It got to the point for me, it was bad enough that I just realized I had to take medication. That
Right.
medication helped me sort out a lot of the chronic, so it helped me sort out a lot of the acute issues, because I guess anxiety is different for everyone. It could be acute or it can be chronic, but I had both. So it was always there, but then I could have acute panic attacks, if that makes sense. So it stopped the panic attacks. It allowed me to get some things in my life back on track. And now I've gotten to the point where things feel settled enough that I know either my brother and I, because my brother's big on shrooms and acid and stuff like that.
Okay.
Probably in the next month, we'll look at like he'll like trip sit me or something like that, and like I'll probably do mushrooms, something a little bit more organic. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, interviewing people about that topic is totally fascinating. I think it's really sad that people like cancer patients, soldiers, terminally ill people are not able to get access to these things for times in their life where it would help them massively, particularly if they were being sat by a psychiatrist.
Yeah, you mentioned Sam Harris at the start of the podcast, and I believe in one of his books he mentions that there's a life lived without the take. I can't remember which book it was, but he mentioned that the a life lived without taking any, I guess, any of these substances is a life wasted. Something to that extent.
Yeah.
It's a pretty intense, uh, bold claim, but I think there's some merit towards it because it really shifts the paradigm of your world, and it really it allows you to see the possibilities.
Yeah. Have you tried any psychedelics?
I've tried mushrooms before,
Okay.
weed.
What was it like?
Uh,
Oh, I've tried weed. Yeah. I wouldn't call weed a true psychedelic though. Like I know it definitely relaxes you, but it can also jack up your nervous system.
yeah, it can.
So I would say like and it doesn't, like you can green out on it, but it's not able to distort your senses in the way that true psychedelics can, like mushrooms or acid or something like that.
mm,
So what was your experience like with mushrooms?
Actually, I got a YouTube video on it, but I'll just a bit of a cheeky plug. But so my experience was I didn't take a large dose. I didn't take a heroic dose. It was quite a small dose, but just mild hallucinations. There was no existential crisis. It was pretty normal. Yeah, I haven't taken anything in large doses. I'm always a bit cautious. So, but I guess like with weed and marijuana, I mean, I'm not recommending that anyone takes it, but my experience has been it brings me more connected to other human beings. I know that it's given me a lot more social opportunities, and what I mean by that is when I'm high, I'm just in a state of peacefulness, tranquility. I'm just calm and I'm just peaceful. And people make fun of you. You look like a stoner. This that. But yeah, I think there's a real you're just at peace. And for me, that's my experience anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely makes you way more relaxed.
yeah.
The only thing that scared the shit out of me about marijuana was so my family has this history of dementia. Some of it is genetic and some of it is lifestyle related. So a genetic version would be a syndrome that my uncle has called frontal lobe syndrome, where it's basically like dementia that he could never escape from. Whereas my grandmother had dementia called vascular dementia, and it's sort of like it's like if you have a stroke or something like that, and it arrives in the hippocampus, so it starts to impinge on your memory over time and slowly kills the hippocampus.
Right.
So that's what most people's dementia is like. It's not like Alzheimer's or anything like that. And I just remember the first experience I had, I was in Copenhagen, like I would have been 21 or something like that. We're traveling through Europe for 6 months, my girlfriend and I. And I took weed and it was great. I was so relaxed. But the next day I could not remember a fucking thing. Like my memory was gone. And so it scared the absolute shit out of me. I was like, oh no, is this like triggering something that's inherently there? So yeah, and I've done weed. I did weed since then as well over the years, but it just fucked with my memory. It really tripped me.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that you want to be doing. It's an occasional thing, I think, and yeah, definitely, it's not you're not at your highest performance level. You can't. Yeah, your memory goes. And I actually had a guy on the podcast. He's a dream coach, and he coaches people to have their subconscious and things like that. And he talks about the drinking alcohol and marijuana is not good for if you want to have good dreams. Don't take those two things. So
yeah. Okay, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there's many like people who are practitioners and like trip sitting, because I wonder if that would be handy as opposed to getting like a sibling or a friend to do it.
You can find the show on Spotify or YouTube. Just need to type in The Christian Buddy Show and you should find the rest. Enjoy your day.